well, kind of, but Bengals-Eagles in the preseason. To see a little of the stars. Joe Burrow playing in the first quarter for the Bengals. He would go to a familiar target on this opening drive. 3rd and 5 from the Bengals 34. Burrow finding Jamar Chase for 12 yards in the first down.
It looks like it's on air. It's not. It's against the defense, as does this one. This back shoulder. I love the fact that Joe's underneath. Center a little bit. That back shoulder fade thrown perfectly to that right shoulder. Jamar, the vision, the toe tap. This was an offensive passing game that was flawless.
That Burrow passing to Tanner Hudson. He battles into the end zone for the touchdown. And Burrow, by the way, 6 of 7, 71 yards in the opening drive. The Bengals lead 7-0. It's tied up. Bengals looking to answer, though. And Burrow to Chase once again. He races all the way down for the touchdown. Burrow and Chase, a solid start to the preseason. Looks like they haven't missed a beat. So how about that, Marcus? You think Burrow and the starters playing in the preseason helps them avoid that slow start they've had?
I don't know, Boogie. I'm just hoping that they don't play anymore once this game is over that they have next. Listen, Dan just talked about the amazing it's not on air. They looked like this last year. This is exactly how the offense looked last year. And I get it about the slow starts. We've seen one preseason game. That's enough. Get through training camp healthy. That's been a big issue as far as the slow starts go. Get through training camp healthy, and they'll do that week 1 against whoever they play. I have no doubt about it. Joe Burrow threw for 7 million yards, and Jamar Chase caught for 7 million. They probably gonna catch for 7.5 million this year.
Yeah, I hear you. This is where the nervous Nellies today on the show coming.
That's a lot of snaps.
Let's go to Minnesota. 7 million. Where J.J. McCarthy back on the field for their first preseason game. McCarthy making his preseason debut. Of course, he missed last season with the torn meniscus. First quarter Vikings, 2nd and 9 on their own 13. McCarthy finds Jordan Addison for a 5-yard gain. Important because he won't have him when the season starts.
Yeah, and he's also on the move coming off of the knee injury. And so you love that. This is the strength of his game. Hang in the pocket, defensive lineman down near his legs, drive that deep out off of the play action. Ball laid out there for Addison. So you love to see the arm strength. Also the athleticism. 4th and 4. Kevin O'Connell goes for it, takes it, and gets it. To see him healthy and fresh with his legs was a good sign.
Vikings win 20-10. Adam, let's talk, though, about the wide receivers because they've got 3 notable inactive wideouts here. That can affect potentially the way the J.J. McCarthy season begins.
Well, listen, there are some major question marks to their passing game. Justin Jefferson doesn't sound like a serious hamstring injury, but obviously he's going to miss a good part, if not all, of the preseason. Jordan Addison suspended the first 3 games, and Rondale Moore suffered what looks to be a season-ending knee injury on Saturday. Heartbreaking last year, dislocated knee. Second time again this year, a major knee injury. They're not going to have him. That's a lot to lose on the offensive side of the football that they'll have to overcome.
Yeah, it's worth keeping an eye on. Obviously, Justin Jefferson sort of rights a lot of wrongs, but still. All right, let's go to New York, where Justin Fields threw only 1 incompletion in his preseason debut. The majority of his yards occurred when he had more than 2.5 seconds to throw, an area of improvement for him last season. He also had 13 rushing touchdowns, which would be the second longest, a 13-yard rushing touchdown. I'm like, golly, he had 13 rushing touchdowns in the game. I missed that. Either way, D. Wood, what do you think of the Jets' debut for Fields?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. He was decisive. He knew where to go with the ball. Obviously, we saw him use his legs and scramble for that 13-yard touchdown. But I think the biggest takeaway from this game, man, watch out for the Jets' offensive line, bro. They're going to play bully ball. You look at how this team is built. The offensive line is the strength of the team. You got a running quarterback in Justin Fields, a 3-headed monster in the backfield. The Jets should have the most rushing attempts in the league with the components that they have on offense. They're going to play bully ball this year.
Yeah, y'all are telling me, watch out for both the teams in New York. So let's go to the other team. The Giants used all 4 of their quarterbacks at the Bills Sunday, including rookie Jackson Dart. In his 4 series under center, Dart threw for 150 yards and a touchdown, the most of the group. Got rid of the ball quickly, too. An average time to pass of 2.46 seconds per NFL Next Gen stats. Dan, although there was some good, you thought there was even more Dart could have shown on that game. You loved him coming out of the draft.
Yeah, I want to see him slow his feet down to marry the concept. Corner route at the bottom of the screen versus man coverage. You have to give the receiver the time to win on his route. Once you see the back through release and the linebacker go with him, just marry your feet. Right now, he's taking off, getting from the second part of his progression or to the second part Receiver's 4 yards downfield. He ends up winning on the route. And see how he's throwing the ball before the receiver is ready for it? It looks like, wow, inaccurate miss. No, lack of timing. And the second thing is, if you're not going to throw a ball, why? You have a post up top, cross at the bottom. He wants to throw the crosser, but that defender is kind of trying to bait him. I love the fact that he doesn't throw the crosser, but if you're not throwing the crosser and that defender's too deep, the ball should go to the back. And that check down on 1st and 10 becomes a 7-8 yard gain instead of a 1 yard scramble. So these aren't problems. This isn't a alarm. These are just the things that you walk away going, man, so encouraged. But these are some of the stuff that if you're Jackson Dart and the Giant, you really want to see growth this week and for the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, it's why you've said don't start him right away.
I would be patient with him.
There are some Giants fans who are like, look at our guy.
No.
First
Be
round
patient.
draft pick?
Be
All right,
patient.
fine. We'll be patient. Still to come. We got a lot more to get to. Caleb Williams struggled his rookie season, right? But with a new offensive coordinator and, of course, a new head coach, how much is on his plate heading into year 2? Our Bears reporter Courtney Cronin joining the show next. She'll talk about all of it, the inside scoop here on NFL Live. We'll be right back.
Boar's Head has.
I don't know what to tell you. It was egregious. It was terrible.
Caleb Williams goes down. I don't know what happened. Didn't look right. Something happened down the stretch here. It did not make sense.
This offense is broken. I don't think there's a player in the NFL under more pressure than Caleb Williams.
Frustrating, annoyed.
Just another haunting conclusion.
You have to have the right coaching staff.
Caleb, I'm excited to work with you, but it's going to take more than just you. And there are a lot of pieces already in place.
Well, Ben Johnson hoping his offensive success in Detroit can translate over as the head coach of the Bears. You see some of that right there. Over the previous 3 seasons with Johnson as the offensive coordinator, Detroit had a top 3 offense in the NFL in scoring and yardage. Really impressive. The Bears, of course, ranked last in yards per game and yards per play. So a lot of improvement needed as we now welcome in Courtney Cronin, who covers all things Bears and all things NFL as well. So glad to have you with us in person. You have an article up on ESPN.com. It takes a deep dive into Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, their relationship. It's really interesting. Go check it out. But what have you noticed about their dynamic so far in camp?
It's really hands-on. And I think yesterday when starters weren't playing in the preseason game against Miami demonstrates that in a way that I haven't seen in covering an NFL team, where Ben Johnson takes Caleb Williams, 3 receivers, a tight end, and a running back and puts them through 70-plus plays, their routes on air, but an hour-long practice before the preseason game, before he has to go call the preseason game, which is not normal because usually that's either like your quarterback's coach, your offensive coordinator, QC guys putting you through that workout, and it was really detailed. He had to account for motions. He had to account for shifts. So Ben Johnson would give him the play. Caleb would have this sort of like makeshift huddle, call the play, have to account for first down, second down, third down. They were doing red zone work, accuracy work on the deep ball too. And that was to get him more comfortable with things that they've been repping in practice because the emphasis here, give Caleb as much as you can throughout the preseason so he can become a master of all this. And like there's tangible things we've seen from Ben Johnson, whether he's telling Caleb, hey, if your headset goes out, have 2 to 3 plays in your back pocket so you're not in it, you don't want to burn a timeout in that moment. You don't want to panic in that moment. That's stuff that I don't necessarily know he got enough of as a young quarterback during his rookie season that Ben Johnson, a part of this overload process right now, is trying to teach him.
How much of Ben Johnson's offense are they giving Caleb to be responsible for?
Everything, which I know sounds like hyperbolic, but they are trying to overload him right now so they can know where they need to pare back. And this is a complex offense. I mean, you've got Case Keenum, who's 37 years old, saying it's one of the most complex he's ever played in. So for a 23-year-old quarterback who now has to be responsible for really long play calls,
in the
having to get in the huddle, get out of the huddle, and be like, say it with your chest, say it confidently, not stutter when you're in there, and maintain all of this information in addition to identifying things pre-snap that he might not have been that good at doing last year. And I think a good example of that is what we saw, like his process. Is it speeding up? Ryan Poles and I sat down last week. He said he's seeing instances of where he's getting it, but there's also those moments where he's thinking and not just playing and reacting.
Totally.
That happened against Miami in the joint practice. New defense, Anthony Rivers throwing the kitchen sink at him. So there's moments where Caleb's not identifying things that are happening pre-snap with blitzes, we're knowing where his pressure is coming from, and those would lead to sacks in practice. we're still seeing some of that, but again, I think because it's early, the Bears aren't panicking about it. They know that this is part of his process of learning a very complex playbook, and Ben Johnson along the way taking stock of what's not working, so he'll be able to then identify that, adjust things to the quarterback, and maybe even switch up some of how he's teaching it.
It's excellent information out of Courtney. Again, the article on ESPN.com with even more, but it does show you, too, why we all probably need to pump the brakes on what we may see out of Caleb this coming season. Exactly. It would be hard for anyone. Breaking news right now from Adam Schefter. You're going to see his tweet here in just a second, but Adam, what do we know about Landon Dickerson?
Might have news within this hour, and the news is now in. Landon Dickerson is going to undergo a minor procedure here in the coming days to essentially clean up that meniscus in his right knee. The goal is to be ready for the Thursday night, September 4th regular season opener against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, when you have a meniscus injury, they could go in and repair it, and it would be a season-long injury for him, or you could opt to have it shaved down, get it cleaned up, and it's a much less invasive surgery with less time away from the football field. And in this particular case, he's opting to have that shaved down, repaired, and so now he should be able to come back here in short order. It could have been a lot worse. Whether or not he's back for the opener, I know Damian Woody's had this injury. He could speak to it. But from the sounds of it, I think he's got a realistic chance to play against the Cowboys on opening night.
Great news all the way around for Philadelphia. Great news. Again, like you mentioned, I had this injury, literally had it shaved down. I was back. I missed one game. That was it.
What a dog.
Yeah.
Dang,
a little bit, yeah,
okay.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but no, this is great for Landon Dickerson. Obviously, we've talked about one of the best guards that we have in that game, and to be able to, possibly go into the opening game, intact would be great for Philadelphia.
Huge. Dan, Leafus? Yeah? Okay.
Great news for the
Good.
Eagles.
I love it. Thank goodness. We love when people aren't seriously hurt. Let's talk a little bit more about the Browns. This is pretty interesting. Shedeur shows out, okay? You see it right there. Let's see it ourselves. So starting for the Browns as they take on the Panthers. Shedeur getting his shot. First quarter, Browns, 3rd and 9. Sanders showing the elusiveness there, running for the first down. You see what he can do with his legs. Probably not a lot of conversation around that in the lead up to the draft, but you saw it right there, driving the Browns down the field. 4th and 1. Sanders scrambling again, evading pressure and throwing it away here before being brought down. The Browns turning it over on down. So we go to the first play of the second quarter. 2nd and goal for the Browns. Off play action, Dan Sanders finds Caden Davis for the touchdown.
Yeah, this is an aggressive throw. I mean, you're talking about on the move aggression and perfectly placed. And then Laura, you talked a little bit about the legs. I like that he gets out, hangs. That ball is essentially perfect. A sick one-handed catch, but just showing off the ability to make some big-time throws. And then this is the throw that I'm super excited to break down in detail of how that did.
You'll hear from Dan in a minute, but first, let's go to Shedeur after the game.
I'm going to be honest, I wasn't nervous, so I didn't really have too much adrenaline. It was just getting comfortable. That's all it is. It's plenty games before, I was nervous, but I felt like I knew the answers to the test. So it's like when you feel unprepared, then, when you don't feel like you're ready for the moment. I know I'm ready for the moment. Did I play up to par? No, I don't feel like I did. But overall, the main goal was to win. And that's honestly what we did.
Dan, what stood out to you when you look closer at Shedeur's tape?
Yeah, one play, that second touchdown pass. And the three things that stand out are the ability to react, the ability to remain, and then the ability to rip the football. I want everyone to see it at full speed once again because there's a lot of elements attached to this that look like starting quarterback material, understanding it's the preseason, by Shedeur Sanders. Okay, so let's talk about the reaction. Shedeur is going to send the motion, and once the motion goes, coverage in the defense is going to change. And Shedeur actually wants to start with the football throwing to his left. You can see he's peeking this way because he wants to throw this outbreaking route to the tight end. Now, while he's peeking that way, he's going to see this unblocked, what feels like linebacker coming his way. So you have to react from that linebacker because you don't know if this back is actually going to get there for protection. Back does, okay? Good job by Marshall. But react away. Now, when you react away, he gets into this moment where do you remain a passer or not? There's a running lane, but that's not really his strength, right? So you can see Shedeur remaining a passer with his vision down the field. So react away, remain a passer. And I want everyone to remember, when he initially left, he was on that hash. Remember that landmark when he first starts to move. So you're remaining the passer, and then when you see the field, if you're Shedeur Sanders, and you see that first post goes that way, and that safety collapses, what it does is it leaves a vacancy there for you to throw that outside post if you want. So react, remain, and then rip the football to that open receiver. And this is what I love, the ball placement. Down in the red zone, we talk about 2 places to throw the ball. Face mask or higher, belt buckle or lower to protect the receiver and the throw. That's phenomenal by Shedeur Sanders. Now, I want to go back one quick moment. Remember I told everybody when he first starts to move, this is what I call operational space. He's on that hash. Block comes, he gets off that hash about 2-3 yards, and now look at the throwing posture that he's in. Even off that little shuffle, throwing posture, and then that beautiful touchdown pass. There's a lot right there that looks like a starting quarterback in the NFL. The Browns now have to sit around and go, do we have to give him more reps with the starting units against starting defenses?
Ooh, wow. I love it, Dan. Adam, there were some injuries in the Browns quarterback room that factored into the amount of Sanders playing time. What's the status of those injuries?
Both Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel were back on the practice field this week. Both had hamstring tightness, some issues there. I think they know what time it is. They know it's time to go out and show that they can play this preseason, especially with Shedeur Sanders coming out and lighting it up the way that he did in his preseason opener. Both players on the practice field today. We'll see if they can get going here in the Browns' second preseason game.
Yeah, that was the thing we wondered this whole time. It's like, how are they going to get the reps around all these quarterbacks, give them enough opportunity? Oh,
let me break you out. Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett feeling that pressure, Boogie.
Oh, no, we got to get back out there.
That pressure.
All right, so they're feeling the pressure, but do you think Shedeur did enough to prove that he should be in consideration for the starting job, Swag?
Yeah, he did. And listen, because you know Joe Flacco is not your long-term answer to be your starting quarterback if you're going to usher in a new quarterback and get this team potentially in a position where they can go and play forward and make moves in order to try to win a lot of games, especially in that division. Here's the thing for me, though. Like, the response of the kid is the best thing that happened in this game, right? We've been talking all offseason about he's not getting enough reps in practice, all of these things, set up to fail, all of that. I said Friday when I was on First Take, I said this is the perfect opportunity because Dan and Woody knows this. Injuries create space for you to perform. Yeah. It's an age-old tale in the NFL, and this is one of those other situations when you see in the preseason a guy goes down and the team finds out, oh, we got a player here. Now, it's a polarized position, and obviously we know about Shedeur Sanders. I played with a guy named Miles Austin in Dallas. Yeah. We would not have known how good he was at wide receiver had it not been for an injury. This happens so much in the offseason. He went and took full advantage of his opportunity. And what he's done more than anything, he's earned more reps in practice and earned more critical reps in practice now in order to compete to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Because everybody else on this roster ain't proven. So I don't know why in the hell you would leave him at fourth string after a performance like that.
Don't get Wally Pipp, baby.
I know.
Don't get Wally Pipp.
Every coach should tell you about Wally Pipp.
Hey, Swagger, don't let it happen to you. All of a sudden, hamstrings, everything done got right. Quick back there. Right, exactly. No, but listen, I said
I'm healthy now.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're healthy. They ready to practice. But listen, man, it's one of these things where, you know, you had to take advantage of the opportunity. And the fact that he played so well, now you planted that seed. You planted that seed in Kevin Stefanski's head. It's like, whoa, okay, you played the majority of the snaps. You look damn good out there. You're forcing people's hands in that building. Like, okay, we got to start giving this young man some more reps.
You know what I'll say, too? Ironically, and I felt this way and I've said it, I actually believe Shedeur Sanders is more equipped with his skill set and his traits better for this offense and Kevin Stefanski with Cleveland than Dillon Gabriel who took before him and Kenny Pickett. I just think the style of football marries with the scheme best.
Dan, you ever Wally Pipped anybody?
Yeah, 10-year-old Little League. Let's go.
Hey, all right
in middle school. In middle school. He's tall.
Cam
Let's give him a shot.
Yeah,
he trashed though.
Preseason debut. Have the Titans found their franchise quarterback? Dan, going back to the touchscreen, talking about what he saw from the rookie next. I don't think I've ever Wally pipped anybody either. So
when you didn't host NFL Live, Field Yates came on.
Field
Field
Wally
proved
pipped me.
himself. Field proved himself. That young Field.
Everywhere